Love and tolerance. This is Ian with an unexpected curbside find video. Now, compared to what other junk finds I've seen here on YouTube, this is pretty low end, bottom of the barrel, ghetto, whatever you want to call it. However, for me, I could see usefulness in this despite its perceived obsolescence. So I came across this VCR and DVD player combination. It was trashed, and when I inquired to some neighbors nearby if there was a yard sale or if it was a junk pile, they informed me it was most likely the latter. It has typical dual back and front VCR inputs, though both composite video, but at least the audios were stereo. The idea being they could only record onto VHS tape, but not DVD-R. And not to point out the elephant in the room, but the VCR door is busted and missing. In the back, there is a composite video stereo audio output and RF input and outputs. The RFs were important to me. With the advent of digital TV, analog broadcast signals and their ancient coax connections are mostly unused, and is not even included in most modern recorders such as the Magnavox VCR/DVD recorder combo I currently own. Nonetheless, many old consoles such as the Atari or Nintendo Top Loader only offer RF out unless it's modified. There are also DVD-only output jacks, and as stated, they only output the DVD player's functions. It sucks because it has both S-Video and component YPB-PR with optional progressive scan, as well as digital audio via RCA coaxial for surround sound. So I plug it in and it powers on. Good sign. I hook it up to a television and it shows a picture. Great sign. I can use a few of the functions, like change channels on the analog tuner, but it seems like I need a remote to use all of the needed functions I'm using this for. Off camera, I did play a VHS tape and a backup DVD. I'm delighted to say both media played back successfully and without incident, surprisingly enough. I went on eBay and purchased a replacement for the Sony original equipment manufacturer's remote. I made sure to back search this accurately. All I needed were 2 AA batteries, not included. Before I used the VCR to its fullest potential, I hooked up my Super Nintendo via the RF. I used the multi-AV to RF cable from my real-life friend C-Plasma guns. For argument's sake, I could have also used a much older console where this was the only option if I had owned one. I could change the channel with the remote. By the way, I also used the remote to program the VCR to only recognize channels 3 and 4, the ones RF usually only output to. I could also change to the AV line inputs with it, both the rear, line 1, and the front, line 2. In fact, using the remote was the only way to do that. I'd say 9 times out of 10, people junk their VCRs because the remote is missing. And even if the tape player no longer works, as long as it turns on and it shows a picture, it can still act as a video switcher, video splitter, RF modulator, and RF demodulator. So there's still some usability regardless. And lo and behold, after hooking up my Super Nintendo via an actual multi-AV to stereo and composite cable, and using the remote to change the appropriate AV input, it works as intended. For the finishing touch, I hook one more console up to the front jacks, a PlayStation 2. Don't mind its own external TFT monitor screen. One thing of note is that when something is hooked to the front, the VCR automatically switches to that input. Likewise, when something is disconnected from it, it switches back to the rear. Here I am, switching between the PlayStation 2, the unused RF, and the Super Nintendo. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this junk find, and stay tuned for other videos I have in store. Special thanks to C Plasma Guns for giving me his old RF adapter to use in this reenactment. You can subscribe to his own YouTube channel and follow him on Twitter @Matt4. Please subscribe and share my channel on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter @Inuyasha, and follow me on Pinterest and Tumblr. Love and peace, this is Ian.